So, how does one start a day after what we did last night? That's the question I've been sitting on since I walked out of this room, and also we got up this morning, went for a walk about 4:30, and it's how do you what's the first flip chart do you present after a night like that? So I've had a good think about this, and I'll tell you where we're going to go, everyone. With humans, we've got a left and a right brain. Let's draw this up, hey guys? So I need you participating today at a really high level. We've got a left and we've got a what, everyone? We've got a right. Leon, can I get you guys to cuddle up with another table here? You look lonely. So come over to this front table. They're really good guys, they tell me. So we've got a left and a right. The left side of our brain does logic. What does it do? And the right side does creative. Another way to do it, another way to say it is our left brain is where we do a lot of our thinking, and the right brain is where we do a lot of our feeling. Okay? And I'd like you to write this down, that most of us spend upwards of about 98% over here in logic. So we're constantly thinking, we're very logical in how we think and go about life. Who'd agree with me on that? So if you think about this, for a start, we don't do a great job of getting over to the creative side of our brain, to the feeling side of our brain. So if you think about that with the way that I teach, we have things like music, we have think time, we have, notice that in front of you there we've got Crayola pens, not fountain pens, so that you can get over to the right hand side of your brain where the creativity is. Does that make sense, everyone? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, so over here is also the feeling side, as I mentioned. And I think if you go back to another flip chart, which is, do you go from the head, which is the left-hand side, the very logical side, or are we coming from more of the what, everyone? More of the heart. So this is kind of the other side of where you truly are at any point in time. So to start off day 2 of the forum, especially after where we went last night, I'm going to teach this principle here, which some of you know, which is called what, everyone? Which is called what, everyone? Whiffle. What I feel like expressing. I'd like you to underline the feel bit. Does it say what I think like expressing? No. It says what, everyone? What I feel. So what I'm trying to do in true whiffle is to get people over to this right-hand side of where your feelings are, not where your thinkings are. So right now, I bet you there's a fair few people that have got a few emotions bubbling around of what we did yesterday. Please raise your hand if you're a bit emotional. Good. Okay, because that's how you're feeling. So in terms of teaching whiffle, it's a very, very powerful concept as it relates to teams, to couples. And I think that it'd be good just to reteach it for some of the oldies to make sure that you're tight on the process. And for the people that have never done it, I think it's a really good idea that you learn it right now. This is how I run team. This is how we run our family. This is how my wife Georgie and I coexist. One of the reasons, or one of the ways, is through whiffle. So in a minute, I'm going to put you guys into a table on whiffle on your table, and you're going to tell the people on your table what you're feeling right now. What's brought up over the last 24 hours of being in here. Okay, now what I would recommend that you don't go and do is go over to logic. A lot of you will want to go over to logic, and how that will sound is, hey, what I supposedly feel like expressing, and then you'll go and give us a heap of logic. The weather's good, I'm looking forward to getting home, work, blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense? Hello? Okay, so don't go there. I'd prefer you to stay over on the right side of what you're feeling. Does that make sense? Here's the rules of whiffle. Please write them down. Whiffle has got a lot of origins back to child psychology. The first is that only you can speak. So the wiffle, the table environment that you're going to go into in a minute, is a safe environment. It can only be safe if you're the only one that's speaking. So I'm just looking at Mick down here on this table. If Mick's talking, and then Shane over there all of a sudden jumps in and says, yeah, that's a great point, or, you know, it corrects him on something, etc. Does that increase the energy or decrease the energy? It decreases. So you can't talk, all right? He's got the floor if Mick was the one that was whiffling, okay? So you start off it by saying, what I feel like expressing is, and then you've got the floor. I'm going to recommend that the whiffle on your tables should probably go for a minute and a half in this setting that we're going to about to do. We'll know that you finish because you've got to have a finale to it, and you say, that's what I feel like expressing. Please write that down. Some people forget to finish it. So that's how you finish it. And then all the people in the whiffle, what do they say? Thanks. Thanks, Mick, if Mick was just done it. And then he has to pass it on. Kelly, to his left or right, what do you feel like expressing? Thanks, Mick. What I feel like expressing is, she's got the floor. Now, it doesn't have to be 90 seconds. It could be 2 minutes. Could be 3 minutes. If you've got something to say, we did a whiffle here with our team this morning. You know, it went for at least 10 or 12 minutes. Okay? Heap of tears. It was really, really good because people tapped into what? Which side? This side over here on the right side. So they went to their heart, not to their head. Okay? Here's a question just for you. Wonder how much time you actually do spend in the heart just in doing life. There's an interesting question, isn't it? So, does everyone know what we're doing? Okay? Now, I'm going to suggest that you play this one 100% full tilt. It was in the rules of the game that we talked about yesterday. So, I've got no real time limit on it, but I'm interested to see what comes up and what you share. I bet you some great learnings you're about to hear. So, everyone facing in towards your table. You guys can decide who's going to start. Let's go. Zana, good morning.
Morning, Bruiser.
What did you take out of that?
Well, I'm Zana Shipman, and we've got a caravan park. What I found, I waited till last to speak, and it was quite interesting in the sense normally I have quite a lot of feeling and emotion, and it didn't come until I spoke that what I was grateful for is recognising those moments of divine intervention. And I say that because the timing often is much bigger than any one of us here, what happens. So your meeting and then what we created yesterday to be able to work on a huge level, because we're just one little being, but the ripples and everything that come from us working together like this that's where miracles come from. So that's what I feel like expressing.
She's having another go. Well done. Thank you. Give her a hand. Dudley, what did you take out of that? Where are you?
My name's Dudley. I'm from Melbourne. I've run my own business for the past 18 years, and I'm about to set up a new business because that one is now was sold on. And what I noticed this morning, and I would like to comment to the group, I've been to many forums in this room, property forums, etc., over the last few years, and it, almost without exception, at those, I came away feeling judged. I came away feeling less than good enough, because other people it was all about, look what I've done, look how well I've done, what are you doing? Whereas in this forum, that is totally the opposite. I as an outsider, I'm feeling very welcomed, I'm feeling very unjudged, I'm feeling very comfortable in talking to everyone, whether they're running an 800,000 net profit business or a startup business. So I'd like to thank you, Bruce, and everyone here for that.
Great distinction. Give him a hand, everyone. Well done, Dudley. Thank you.
Morning, team. I'm Pip from Aponeco Lifestyle Beanbags, and what I feel like expressing is that I just feel very privileged to be a part of this group, which is, flowing on from what other people have said, and to be a part of something so important. That's the only word I can think of, is privileged, and pride to be part of that. And also I was just feeling really excited to be able to be a part of that. This time last year we couldn't really contribute much to the fundraising, so I possibly might have contributed a little bit too much last night. But I don't...
Sell more beanbags.
That's right. I don't even want to say that because of the hugeness of what we're doing, and I also feel like expressing huge gratitude to Peter's Australian mum and dad, and just the connections to flow on from what Zana said, and Bruiser, of course, to the glue. So that's what I feel like expressing.
Thank you. Before you get off, hang on. Can I just tell you an interesting story I didn't tell last night? When we met Peter's Australian parents, Anne and Jeff Mitchell, for the first time, we were talking, and here's one that's especially important for you, is I was speaking to Peter and Jeff, and I said, they live in Corinda on the western suburbs of Brisbane, and they basically said, I said, I've spent a fair bit of time out here. I used to go to school down the road, and they asked me where I went to school, and it was in Toowong, and BBC, where your Bruce also went. Pip's and Bruce French is I went to school with, and they said, do you know a guy called Reverend Graham Cole, who are their best friends, and he married Georgie and myself.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
I had to tell that one because there. So thank you. Give her a hand.
Hey there, is this working? Yeah, cool. Hey, I'm David from King IT Bundaberg. I'm a team member there. Before I start my whiffle, I just need to let you guys know that this is like a story. And it hasn't happened in the last 24 hours, but seeing Patrick get that award last night really reminded me of where I come from and stuff. So what I feel like expressing is I moved over to here from New Zealand on February the 13th. My daughter was born on February the 26th, after which we were removed from Bundaberg housing and became homeless. So, sorry. The day that we ran out of money and we couldn't afford to stay in the hotel anymore, my 2-month-old daughter and my 5-year-old daughter and my partner and I had a big fight, and I got a call from Ryan saying, do you want a job at King IT? And I said yeah, I do. I don't really want to stay in Bundaberg region, but I'll do it anyway. And he told me it was a career and everything. So I got the job, and it literally saved my life and saved my family from actually becoming homeless. And seeing them get that award last night, they really, really deserve it. And I just appreciate you, Bruce, for actually giving that to them and recognising them as human beings, not just business owners. So that's what I feel like expressing.
Awesome, mate. Well done. Hey, Tess, how are you?
Hi, I'm Jess. I own the Boss Babes project, but I'm helping Nick from Shot Imagery for the weekend. On our table, we felt like expressing complete shock, really, that every day this is our life, and in this world, it's still happening somewhere else. And complete gratitude for the life that we get up and live every single day, and most days take for granted. And completely grateful that this amount of people, but even so many other people that couldn't make this weekend, have been helped by Bruce to get success within your own business and within your own life. But with that has brought generosity. And I was here at the Mad Day last year, and I remember Bruce saying, your why doesn't have to be about you. Your why can be about what you can give to other people. And I was really impressed by that and really grateful to have been a part of last night. So, thanks.
Thanks, Jess. Well done. Give her a hand, everyone. Okay, guys. what I'm going to get you to do before we move, I'd like you to stand up, give 3 people a hug on your table, and then we're going to move. Let's go. Okay. I'll have one at the end or I won't get through this. So. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do is I do need to shift. I got to elevate. So just give me a little hand whoosh. 1, 2, 3, whoosh. Okay, back through your notes. You had top 7, maybe more from yesterday. Let's go and find your notes that you wrote down from yesterday, please. And I'd like you to pick number 3 and number 7 on your notes. And just discuss that with your group. Everyone gets a turn on this. So back through your notes. What were the 2 numbers? 3 and 7. Why did you write 3 and 7 down on your pads? Start with the person with the most weirdest looking nose. So you guys, some good learnings we're going to lock in today's and the whole weekend this afternoon. So this next section that I want to do is on this particular one right here. What is it, everyone? Time. So new page in your books. We're going to do some work on time mastery. Who has a challenge with this one, where this one kind of gives you a whacking? Okay, good. So we're going to spend a bit of time here. So I'm going to ask you a question to start with. Just give me your eyes, please. I've got a $10 note right here. And my question to you is that if you walk back to your room or to the car when you leave today, and there's a piece of money sitting on the ground, and you're walking along like no one else is there, you're just walking along, and then boom, I can see a $10 note, a $50 note, a 2-cent coin, even though they don't exist really anymore. My question is, at what level or what is your decision making around whether you pick it up or not as it relates to time? Round your tables, 30 seconds. Okay. Who picks up every cent? Please raise your hand. All right, good. Who'd walk past something? 5 cents? Okay, I'm going to go up. What about 50 cents? What about $1? Who walks away from $1? $2? $10? All right. Okay, so here's the next exercise. I'll come back to that in a minute. On your pads, what I'd like you to do now is to tell me your hourly rate worth. What did I just say? Hourly rate worth. Not what you charge, but what your self-worth is per hour. So if I need to buy an hour of your time, how much should it be? Should it be? How much do you want it to be? How much are you worth, is what I'm saying. 1 minute. Write down per hour how much money do I got to get out of my wallet to work with you right now. Write it down. Let's go. Who has not got a number? Has everyone... No, how many people have not got a self-worth number per hour? Please raise your hand. Please stand. We're back at the auction thing again. Bruce is going to get us up on stage. Well, isn't that interesting? So, do I need to go and present self-sabotage from yesterday morning again? I'm going to give you 1 more minute. Everyone standing needs to have a number. On your table, anyone that was standing, you got to coach their butt off, all right? You got 1 more minute. Go. Has everyone now got a number? Yes or no? You don't have a number, Smithy. Oh, my God. Huh? No, you don't. So here's the thing. Guys, if you need to consult something here, a calculator or something, I'm asking you what's your self-worth per hour. If you can't articulate that to me, there's a challenge right there. Because you don't have a worth, because you can't actually describe a monetary worth, not love and all that other. I'm just saying from a monetary point of view. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay, so maybe there's the learning there from today. So, turns out, as you know, I'm a bit of a measuring freak, right? So what happened is I timed myself of how long it stopped for me to pick up something, and I'm not doing it a bad back, so actually seeing it, pulling up, having a look around to see if anyone's going to see me steal their money, then go down with the proper thing, not on the back, and then do that, put it in the pocket, takes, on my clock is 7 seconds. Please write that down. To pull up, the normal flow is how many seconds? 7 seconds. Everyone grab a calculator right now. Could you do, for me, please, 7 divide into 60 seconds. 7 seconds divide into 60 seconds. What's your percentage? 11%. So, I've done the math for you. I got a couple of bands. I need you to write these ones down. So if your self-worth per hour, if 7 seconds is 11% of a minute, and your per hour rate is $25 an hour, under $2.75, you should keep on walking. If you're $50 an hour, $5.50 on the ground, you keep walking. $11 for 100, keep on walking. If you think you're $200, it could be $22 there or under, and you got to keep on walking. Gets pretty sexy up here. I'm north of this one. I should just keep on walking a long way after that. So, have we got the learning? So I've got another flip chart for you. Better question. Round your tables. What is the learning? 2 minutes. Round the table. What's the learning on that flip chart right there?
So,
who are you?
Susie from Integrated Wellness Clinic. So I think the big thing was just bending over and picking up a note. You wouldn't think that that takes much time. And if you kind of liken that to what you do in business, like little distractions continually actually add up to the big picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Huge point. So what do you need to walk past?
Well, actually, I was actually spot on. So
Okay.
I didn't know what I was worth, but I said that I wouldn't do it unless it was $20, and then I came to 150, and
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, good. Well done. Give her a hand. Good awareness. Violet, who are you?
I'm from Oakley Brown Pharmacy Group. Good morning, everyone. And so what I saw was, if it was within my work time, I wouldn't pick it up. But if it's outside my work time, money's money, I'll still pick it up.
Yeah. So did you make a distinction between work time and then personal time? What
Yeah.
you would pick up in work time versus personal time, is that right?
Yeah.
That's a really interesting point, all right? Did anyone else have that? Well, I'd pick up 2 cents if I was by myself at home, but if I was in a work, well, I got to be really responsible on my time. Is that right?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? So, what are you going to do about the personal side?
I don't know. I find something worthwhile that will worth more than the $10.
Yeah, very good. Give her a hand, everyone. Well done. Yes, sir.
Adrian from Adrian Ramsey Design House. I see that the exercise of it is recognising the distraction of where you take yourself. I take myself. Because I would pick up 2 cents, I'd pick up 1 cent. And as a little side note, there's a lovely joke about a guy peeing in a urinal and he throws 25 cents in there while there's another guy peeing as well. Because there's a dime in there and he goes, for 10 cents, no, but for 35, I'll do it. And he picks them up. One of the things that happened to me early on in life was somebody made the distinction to me about when you wake up in the day, you've got time and you either spend it or invest it. And the key point there was, I look at Bruce's life and I go, he invests just about all of his time. He doesn't really spend time. He invests it in his own lifestyle, he invests it in his well-being, his health and us and business and in his family. And I look at that and I go, for myself, what time am I spending as opposed to investing, and what's the return I'm getting? If I don't want a return, just go and spend time. But if I want a return on what I've got, invest the time. Think about it. Take the critical thinking one step further. And on the chart...
So, hang on.
Sorry.
Thank you. Really good, and I appreciate the acknowledgement. And my question is for yourself, what are you spending versus investing? What needs to shift as it relates to you, Adrian?
For myself, the critical thinking part of what's the return on whether I'm spending or investing. And in my life, I think I spend time too much on the wanting to be liked, wanting to be that person, instead of actually wanting to deliver the value and move off from that and then deliver the value again somewhere else.
Okay. Do you have a metric?
No. Don't think so.
I just said an important question, everyone. If you don't have a metric, you then have to make a gut decision. I always tell the story, and I'll just say it again. I haven't mown my own lawn since 2006, right? Is because I know the metric. I don't have a jungle at my home, and the reason is it's complete waste of my time, okay? But I got a metric. I couldn't have made that distinction because if I didn't have a metric, okay? So there's probably the biggie for you. If you don't have a metric, you'll chase the cat around the yard, yeah? Okay?
Awesome.
Righto, give him a hand, everyone. Well done.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Joaquin from Lira Wine Experience. So the distinction that came up in the table was that when it comes to time, a lot of the times, well, at least in our company, that happens. When something needs to be done, I usually take on things like that I don't even know how to do, but then I rather invest the time learning and doing it. And then when I looked at what my time is worth, then it would have been cheaper just to pay someone to do it than me spending hours learning it and then doing it. I'm just trying to think, this is cost effective, but it really isn't cost effective.
Yeah, and so it's a great point. I love Warren Buffett's quote on this. Here it comes, everyone. Warren, who I think's earned the right, given he's got $64 billion of net worth, he's got this quote, and he says, "The rich invest in time, the poor invest in money." And what that means, I'll say it again, the rich invest in time, the poor invest in money. So the poor want to save a buck, so they'll do it themselves, versus the rich who respects their time and then allocates it correctly. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's huge. Thanks, Jack. Give him a hand, everyone. Well done. Lucky last. Who are you, sir?
Dan from Aurelian Sons. It's funny how there's so many different distinctions on one flip chart. At our table, it was we come up with minimum charges for jobs. So would you go to a job for this amount, basically? That's kind of along the lines we went. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Give him a hand, everyone. Well done. So, to just expand on the flip chart, let's go over to here. I want you to draw this flip chart. And basically how it works is once you, Adrian, have got a metric, right, what's your worth per hour, it's very easy to make a distinction on where you want to go and invest your time. Okay, so effectively, down below, no, I thought it was falling off there, sorry. Sorry, Michelle. You scared the crap out of me, sorry. Notice I didn't move, I just sung a bit then. Yeah, it wasn't worth my time. Okay, so south of the border, if you know the metric, you can do what with it? You can leverage. You can say, hey, I'm going to outsource this. I'm going to pay someone else to do it. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes or no? Or the other one is just to do this. Is to what? Is you just go, well, hang on, why is that even a need? Who invented that as something that we need to do? Okay? So, on your tables there, we've got a new sheet. Okay, called what? This one here. What's it say, everyone? Time leverage. Please pass it round and hand them out around your table. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put you in just a bit of think time just on your own on question 1. I'll read it. Name at least 3 tasks or activities in the business. I'm just keeping it to the business that I'm currently doing that drain my time and I need to leverage. Okay? You could write there /SAC if you want to on that sheet. Right? Just write that in. I didn't put SAC there because I'm assuming just with only leverage that you're going to keep the task in the business. When I don't want to just make that assumption because there could be a need to do that on it. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, so by yourself, just yourself, this will be like about 2 minutes. What needs to go? What is under this hourly rate that's just a waste of time and you're just sabotaging yourself or the business? 2 minutes, guys. Let's go.
And the things that keep us away.
Start finishing up. And finishing up there. Okay, on those 2 or 3 or 4, however many you've got written there, I want you to go to number 2 and have a corresponding answer on number 2. What's number 2 basically all about? What's it, number 2 all about? What's the cost? Okay, so the problem is, the reason why a lot of us would go down and pick up the $10, $20, $2 on the ground is we don't know the cost. Okay, so now we're going to put a bullseye on the cost of that activities that are not adding value. Does that make sense, everyone? Hello? Okay, good. What's the cost? This is only like 45 seconds. Let's go. Round your tables, the number 1 activity on that top 3 that you did up the top there, and also what was the cost. So number 1 that needs to get leveraged or sacked, and what's the cost if you don't do it? Round your tables, everyone's going to have a go on something. Start with the person who is the worst at time on your table. All right, that'll probably do us. Okay, we've both got 2 ladies there. You're at the first one, Ash.
Okay, this has been a really interesting exercise for me, Bruce, so thank you. Had a really hard time coming up with a self-worth number, not knowing what to base it on and where to even, I guess I go into head there and go, well, what does that actually mean? So with the help of my table, came up with a number. Don't know if it's the number yet, but
What is the number? You know that big puff you did?
well, I don't think I understand. I don't want to say the meaning of it yet, but so my
What do you want it to be, Ashley? There's that puff again.
yeah. Double or nothing. I'd like it to be bigger than it currently is in my head.
What's the number? Spit it out.
I don't know why I'm struggling so much. I'm serious. Like, I have no idea how to value an hour of my time. If it were to be the things that I want to create in my life, it'd have to be around $500 an hour. But that is completely...
Boom, boom.
But that is completely intangible for me right now. So the question that I have...
What do you mean by intangible, Ashley?
Well,
that is an interesting word to describe your self-worth.
when someone's in front of me that I want to help, feel I can help,
Yep.
can see the possibility for me to say to them in whatever situation they're in that this is going to cost you $500 an hour, and I know we don't language that because it's about the outcome. My whole body just goes numb thinking about saying that to them, looking them in the eye.
Look, let me help. Can I help?
Please.
Or have a crack at it at least?
Sure.
They're paying you for value. Okay? Then it's not about the money. They want a result. In your game, if they don't do a change, they'll probably have 5 or 10 years off their life. Is that kind of fair?
It's totally true, yes.
Yeah, so why have you got a problem extending their life?
Thank you.
All right, so I mean, look.
It's communicating that to them, getting them to see it that way.
Well, that's a different conversation. You got to believe it yourself, and I think it's okay, Ashley, in the early days when you're getting good at this. Write this down, everyone, is just do a bit of fake it till you make it. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay to go, I'm 500 an hour, holy bungie, I'm shitting myself. All right, that's okay.
Yeah.
But if that's where you truly think you are, good.
And the big distinction, just to bring it up, is what made this click is when I added up the amount of hours that I'm spending that I technically could be getting someone else to do, it's an extra $500,000 a year.
I know. It'll take everyone's breath
That was
away.
based on $160 an hour. That was not based on $500.
500, I know, don't worry, I get it.
But then now I just need to go, well, how do I actually make sure that the time that I then free up, I can actually bring in?
Well, there's an interesting conversation. So if you go and free up and get rid of all the low value ones under $160 or whatever the rate is, okay, but then you just go, e.g. to the pub, that's not what we're talking about here. It's then putting those time that you've just saved into other profitable parts of the business, or profitable meaning very holistic in personal.
Yeah.
Okay?
And then riding the wave between being able to afford the person that you're paying for to do all the low-hanging fruit while you take the time that it takes to actually get up to that earning. That's where we're kind of...
Yeah, I know. So, look, there's a bit of a law of vacuum thing in that too, is that sometimes you got to kind of go, all right, who's ever taken on a team member where it kind of, in the early days of doing it, stressed cash flow? But then you went, oh my God, that was the best decision, like 3, 6, 9 months. Who's done that before? And then who's ever said, you're getting coached like by 260 people here at this point, Ashley, and then you've turned around and said, why didn't I do that decision before? Who's done that? Okay, thank you. Give her a hand and sit down. 500. Yes, ma'am. Who are you?
I'm Kate from Commercial Clean Australia. I struggled a bit with the self-worth, putting a dollar amount on my hour. I know I still need to do a lot of work around that. The exercise of finding what tasks I'm doing, I worked out I'm doing about a day a week of my work that I could give to someone else.
Awesome.
And the other distinction I had is in our personal life. So this is another one I struggle with as well. I keep thinking, like our personal lives, our business lives, everything's busier now than it ever was, and I keep thinking when it settles down, I'll be able to do this, I'll have more time to do that. I've come to the realisation that this is normal now, and for me and our family to be able to cope with that, I need to say I need help at home, and that's another self-worth, because a lot of I feel my main purpose, I've had less of a role in the business, but at home it's something I really pride myself on. So to say that I need help to look after the house and get things in order for the kids is a biggie. So that's kind of where my head's a bit of a...
And thank you for being... There's so many people... Who's getting a bit of mirroring with Kate right now? So it turns out there's a few more people here. My question to you is, going forward, is that be okay to let go of a bit of control, or is that, hey, my identity's wrapped up in ironing, or what?
No, Paul irons.
Oh my God.
I think it's both.
What's the higher one?
Control.
Okay, so just stand there. Everyone grab a pen. So I just want to state something here, that these two principles, when control goes up, growth goes down. They're two opposing principles. So when you're okay to let go, your growth actually goes up. Okay?
Yep.
So for me, you want to grow on this area, Kate, we're just going to have to do what?
Let go.
Yeah. Be okay.
Yep.
See it as an investment. Okay?
Yep.
Give her a hand, everyone. Well done. Yes, sir.
Hey, Bruiser. Mike from Aero New Zealand. Time management has always been one of my biggies that I've struggled with. And the challenge that you gave me to stop me running a bloody marathon is all about that, and what poor time management is preventing me from doing in our business. So I would never, ever have put a number like 500, but it's probably more like 1,000 when I look at all the things that if I manage my time and get away from doing the menial stuff that keeps dragging me.
Hang on. It doesn't drag you, you allow it.
I allow it.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I come from a farming background where I enjoyed the hands-on kind of menial tasks, and it's really hard to divorce myself from that. But it's very clear, it's not even intangible stuff that I see out there if I create time to do. There's some very real things right in front of me that if I kick all the other stuff to touch, probably puts 300 or 400k on our business a year, just like that.
And I mean, just share. We had a good coaching session in Christchurch on Wednesday. You've kind of had a big week, or in terms of a few distinctions on this very thing. So just expand a little bit more for these guys.
Oh, we've had a bit going on. We've been shifting a couple of warehouses, and I'm probably not a great creator of plans for other people to action, and so the net result is that I jump in and just crack on. So I spent a weekend in a warehouse by myself doing all-nighters, putting up pallet racking and stuff, and at the end of it I came home and I was unproductive for a couple of days, and it just dawned on me that that's just not stuff I should be doing anymore, because there's people that can do it better than I can.
Yep. And you're needed in other parts of the business.
Sorry, Bruce.
And you're needed in other more valuable parts of the business.
Yeah, exactly. And and I guess that flags that there's always been a little bit of undervaluing of what I actually can do in those other parts of our business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Give him a hand, everyone. Just
Why do they make these things so tall? Tanya from AT Consulting, Kingaroy. I'm not letting go of the bookwork, Bruce, but I am delegating the cars to be cleaned to a car cleaner, because we're on dusty roads every week, and the cars are feral, and that's my personal time that I spend cleaning them. So that's it. I'm hiring one next week.
Good on
tomorrow,
you.
Tomorrow, actually. What's
great.
tomorrow, Monday?
So I wonder how long you're going to hold on to the bookkeeping for, Tanya?
Well, you kick me out of the bookkeeping. I'm not going to have much else to do. I might as well come to the coast and spend my weekends on the beach.
So let me just ask the question: when you did this one, what was your self-worth per hour?
Well, my table over there said I was worth $1 million, so let's just go with $1 million.
No, hang on. That you just deflected me with humour. Thank you. That's a protection thing you just did. I won't let you off. So come on back.
Probably 100 being like.
What's your self-worth per hour, Tanya?
100.
100.
Yep.
So why are you doing a $60 an hour role?
Because I've always done it.
I know, but just because
I enjoy doing it.
We'll go and get a massage. You've just started, you've done a great job, and we'll continue to have that conversation of where your best time is spent. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Tanya. Give her a hand.
Jeremy from Leo Green Painting and Decorating. I struggle with organising my time. Like, if I get a paint delivery, it's free, and if I don't organise that, and it takes me like 2 hours a day to go get it, it's like 26,000 a year I'm going to lose on.
And is that what's happening now?
Well, yeah, sort of as well. If I'm not like writing it down, organising it.
So what are you doing there, buddy, to shift that? I mean, I know you're getting. You do not need any more demand because you can't fulfill at this point. So, he's having a huge amount of growth and just trying to keep up to it. But I think this chart's very important to you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why I saw you, and I thought a little twinkle came on my eye, and I said, you better get up.
Yeah.
But are you going to do something about the low leverage, the low value work in this next 90 days?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked to Pat as well about getting a job tracker as well.
Great.
So.
Excellent. There you go. Well done. Give him a hand, everyone.
Thanks.
G'day all, I'm Lenny from OneSource IT Consultants. On our table there was some big numbers in time wasting, sort of ranging from 30 grand a year to 100 grand a year. It was very interesting. I mean, simply put, from my perspective in our business, I waste a lot of time on the phone with people that at the end of the day I don't particularly need as clients or want, but still give them time. So we equated that to, an hour a day, 120 an hour, extrapolate that out, $600 a week, 30 grand a year, and easily give that away.
Mm-hmm. So what can you do in your sales process to shield yourself or to qualify them better?
Simply don't answer the phones for a lot of the things is one thing that I look at, that I have got staff that can do that, and we have processes that can do it, and I know when I get dragged into it,
right,
my time's just wasted. So
sure, okay.
I do allow myself to get pulled down to that position quite regularly.
Okay, well, I like your languaging. It's coming from I on a lot of that. So really, you've already got the systems, is what I heard. You just need to run them better and be more astute on them.
And I think it comes back to the value, what value I put on my time.
Yep.
And looking at employees and going, oh shit, I'm paying them $30 an hour. Oh, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
Rather than saying, well, I put $250 down an hour for my
Sure.
time. So you look at that, and it's a no-brainer, really.
Yeah. So there's Warren's quote right on the microphone now. So love it. Thank you for getting up. Give him a hand, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Who are you?
Hello, I'm Luann from NWC Insurance, and hello. Basically, since we've had our one-on-one coaching with you, Tony and I have decided to outsource more of our jobs. So we've outsourced some of our marketing, which I was spending hours, probably too many hours sitting there. I'm not trained in marketing or design, so I tried to get onto Canvas and spend hours doing it myself. So we've outsourced that. We've probably saved a fortune in time.
Well done.
Doing that. Also, we are looking to employ somebody because Tony, my husband, spends hours quoting on new business, when we could employ someone probably for 40 or 50,000 a year.
Yep.
To do all the quoting for us, which then gives him the time to spend helping, new clients.
And is that on a shoot what you kill? Is that on, they get paid for what they convert, not on a salary?
What, for the quoting?
Yeah, for this person you're going to hire.
Well, no, because there'd be more sort of back office staff. So instead of Tony spending time doing all the quoting, Tony would be the one that would really be going out to win the business.
Right.
But now he's coming back and having to do all the quoting in the office, spending time doing that as opposed to...
So that person could still be paid on what they produce rather than for the hour that they're sitting in your room. Just to something to have a think on, Luann.
Yeah, I'll have a think, but yeah, that's what we're planning to do. So we'll be outsourcing more so that we can spend more time growing the business and being client-facing.
Good.
As opposed to back office and...
Awesome. Give her a hand, everyone. Well done. Lucky last two. Lorna.
Hi Bruce, I'm Lorna from Wow Property Women. I feel a little bit unique, I guess, because I'm at a place in life where I've actually been able to... My parents have now passed away, my children are grown up, I'm on my own, I can be totally selfish. I don't have to cook meals for a whole family, I can do you foods, and I've got everything outsourced as cleaning and whatever else. So when it comes to the business world, I've got quite a bit of free time and I choose what I do. I get chunk money, so it's harder to work out, your dollar value as an average, but the only thing I could think of that I could outsource, but I'm actually enjoying it, is I'm creating movies for our women to learn from. So, but I actually like cutting and splicing and picking out the bits that I want and that sort of thing too. So, other than that, I think I'm doing okay.
So yeah, you've done a pretty good job on leveraging a lot of this, by the sound of that.
Yeah.
That's good.
And so things are by choice now.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, you've got the choice to go and do more of that up there. Okay,
Yep.
when we get up there. Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Give her a hand.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I struggle with being impatient. So I spend time doing things that I want an answer on right now. And I can't tell sometimes if it's unrealistic for me to expect somebody to just drop what they're doing and do it for me. So I might find something that needs to be done or want an answer on something, and if I've sat for probably 5 minutes and I haven't got it, I'll just go in there and do it myself. Because I want it now, that's why I've asked for it. I wouldn't have asked for it if I didn't need it now. So I don't know if that's unrealistic. I had this conversation with Scott and Luke the other week in the office, and I said, is it unrealistic? Am I being unrealistic? Because I asked for that 10 minutes ago and it's still not fucking done. I'm looking at it and it's still not there, so I'll just do it.
So do you state the time frame when you do the request?
No, but... No, I'm the general manager and I just asked for it now.
I think you may
I didn't
have
know that it needed a time frame.
So, all right, here's another one. I didn't think I'd...
That's what I mean, am I being unrealistic? I am, okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the coaching, guys. I'll put a time frame on it. What's that? I've worked as an EA
Hang
before,
on.
and when my boss asked for something, he needed it now. Okay, thank you. Don't act like you're any different, Hector. Don't be judging up or down on me over there, buddy.
Are you done?
I was just giving you time to write the flip chart.
What's this chart say, everyone? Give her a hand. Thank you.
Guys.
All right. So, guys, thank you for that. Interesting. A fair bit of mirroring, I would have thought, on that one. Let's go back to this. So, upstairs here, once you get clear on the metric, well, then what do we got to do up here? The first thing we need to do is what, everyone? is nurture, and then we've got to put a heap of focus on it. That's a C. So let's go to your back to time leverage. I'd like you to go now to number 5. Thank you. Number 5. So I'd like you to have just discuss the top 2 to 3 areas that are the most high value business activities that I'm avoiding. Okay, that I'm avoiding right now. If I just went and spent more time there and focused, nurtured it, my business would increase, but I'm avoiding it. Okay, so round your tables. This is a group session. This is about 4 or 5 minutes. Start with the person with the longest nose hairs. Let's go. Okay, so who's got some great high value things that we're avoiding back on this one here? Just call it out. What do you got? Just call it out nice and loud. Every table should have heaps. What do you got? What is that? Onboarding. What else? Critical think time. Love it. What else? Who? Writing the book. Yeah, awesome. What else? Investing, processes, systems. What else? Couple more. Mission. Yep. Okay, good. So, guys, we need to focus way more up here. Be aware of our metric and leverage your sack down here. Everyone good with that? Say yeah. Okay, good. New piece of paper, guys. The last section that we're going to do before we go to lunch here, or go to, morning tea, is I want to go from time into margin. Where do I want to go, everyone? Margin. So in any business, this is normally the first area that I'll go and spend time on is margin. So on a normal profit and loss statement, a P&L, we've got some sales for the people in the room that have got costs of goods sold. Then we've got a bit of GP, gross profit. Take out some overhead and expenses. We should be left with what? Net profit. So our overall margin, right, is really these 2 lots of costs here, costs of goods sold and expenses. That's total normal margin. The funny thing is, most times when people talk, they'll say to me, Bruiser, my margin is X. What they're really talking about is this differential here, which is not margin, it's gross margin, okay, which is between sales and my gross profit, okay? So just from making sure your own languaging is correct on that, margin is all of your costs. Gross margin is just the costs of goods sold. Everyone good with that? Okay, good. So I want to just spend a little bit of time there making sure that our margin is really, really good. Now, I'm just going to pop up on the screen here something that a few of you have seen, but I'm now going to just drive this home an extra level. So you know how we spent yesterday time around self-sabotage around money? Remember that, everyone? You know, that was about 6 years ago yesterday morning. Everyone remember that? Okay, good. Remember how we also talked in that last section around time and where we're not putting it. So I just want to go through, you know, really price discounting or not valuing your time, giving it away, does the same thing. So let's just have a look at this. You can take a photo of this once you're done. So if your margin, so the overall part is 30%, okay, and if you're not 30%, you could be 20%. I don't have it on the left, but, you know, if you're 10% or 15% margin, pick what you are there. I'm just going to use 30%. Is that okay, everyone? Okay, so if I'm at 30% and I either discount my price or I don't pass the cost on for a chunky price ride to the tune of 10%, or I'm giving 10% of my time away for free, it's all the same thing. Is everyone okay with that? Say yeah. So on that example, with a 30% margin and a 10% price decrease, I got to sell 50% more to make the same money. I find that's really scary, that particular point. Who else agrees with me? That's kind of gives a bit of whacking. So the interesting thing is, let's say your margin is skinnier. So the further you go to the left on this chart, what's actually happening here? You actually, at 20%, you actually have to sell 100% more sales to make the same money. And for me, this flip chart or PowerPoint is one of the big reasons why there's not a lot of businesses hit the wall, because effectively all they're doing in some shape or form is they're doing what? They're discounting their margin. They're attracting their margin. Does that make sense? We think we're at whatever, 30%, but really we're a lot skinnier than that. Let me give you the other side of this coin. Let's go up here. Let's go to increasing prices. So, same table. Please write it up. Same table. So I've still got 30%. I'll still do the example on 30%. Everyone see my cursor up there? Okay, now if I went and increased my prices by 10%, okay, or bought better by 10%, it's the same deal. Does everyone cool with that concept? Yes or no? Could you do 5% up on your prices and also buy better by 5%? Yes or no? Yeah, you could, right. So let's now do that. Current margin's that. I increase or have a better margin by 10%. 25% of my customers or sales could go away and I make the same money. So think about your business right now. If you were on 30% and you just said, look, Bruiser, I'm not going to do the buy better thing, I'm just going to increase it by 10%. You're telling me, Bruiser, that a quarter of my sales could go away and I make the same money. Isn't that interesting? So, on your tables, I'm going to set you this little test. How focused are you on margin out of 10 right now? Which means, I'm just going to see if I can point at that. Given that it's the total, it's my cost, my sales, what flexibility have I got to put my sales up? What can I buy better with my cost of goods sold and my expenses? So a 10 out of 10, when you discuss this on your table, means that you've done lots of work to see what the maximum you can do upwards on this particular one here. You've done a huge amount of work to see how you can buy better or produce more effectively for the people that have got like a lot of labour, or you've gone through that with a tooth comb to make sure that one is amazing. So a 10 out of 10 you've spent oodles amount of critical think time on. 0, I just got introduced to it. Round your table, start with the person who's the richest on your table. Okay, we're going to do a little game here. I'd like everyone to stand up now, please. Thank you. So the exercise was, how good are you at focusing on increasing prices, managing and reducing cost of goods sold and expenses? A 10 out of 10, you're on it like a machine. 0, I haven't looked at it in a century, okay? So we're going to sit you down if you can't follow. So at the end, we'll be left with a few. Okay, just remember, I also coach you guys, so I actually remember who does what, all right? So if you're a 1, sit your bum on the seat. You don't look at it too much. Whatever, she'll be right, mate. Keith Cunningham reckons that's the worst. That's why half of Australia is poor, based on she'll be right, mate, by the way. 2, sit your bum down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, What's that down there? You can't have one up and one down. I don't understand. The general manager sat down, so you got to sit down too. All right, we're going to give you guys a hand. Well done. Give them a hand, everyone. Okay, so in the last little bit, I'm going to just go to this one right here, expenses. Okay, so I want you to write down a little quote, and that is, if your expenses is not either getting you customers or keeping customers, what do you got to do? You got to load up a gun and do what? You got to sack it, right? Because it's not adding value. So one of the great and most easiest strategies is this one here. What's it called, everyone? What's it called, everyone, with a bit of energy? Nickel and dimes. And this is my lingo to basically get your profit and loss statement and go through every expense with a tooth comb. Okay? And you got to ask that question every time you do it, because there's a lot of people in the room that have had expenses that you don't manage, okay? Or you don't look at regularly enough. So, you know, different things may happen. Insurance, phone bills, power, the list goes on. Do you think wages could be one of them as well? Yes or no? Okay, I've just done this recently with about probably 5 to 10 companies in this room where we're just starting to put a critical eye on it. Overtime, amount of weekend work, a time and a half, that's all in there too. Okay? I just gave one to Luann there on the is even how you pay people. Can you pay it per the result, not per hour that they're there? Is that another one that you can do? Yes or no? I mean, he's not in the room today. Cluffy, my pool guy, I've been coaching him like 4 years. When he first came to me, he was trying to get some leverage. He was the only one cleaning pools. And I said to him, look, you know, he says, I want leverage, I want to not be on the tools. And I said, no problem. Let's go and find some people. And he said, but it's going to kill my business because of the hourly rate. I said, well, wonder if we went out and we just worked out a per pool, cost that the person got paid, or you paid them per the pool. I can't spit it out today. And and he said, no one will come, Bruiser. And I said, well, let's test and measure. And we designed an ad. Remember going back to all of that yesterday on recruiting, talent map, and we basically went out and we targeted the 50 to 65 bracket male to see who wanted some work 3-4 days a week cleaning pools. He rang me about 24 hours into the ad campaign. He said, Bruiser, I got to turn this ad off. I got so many CVs. And we started employing him. He's still got like 6 or 7 people running around cleaning pools that he pays per pool. Okay, so there's a nickel and dime strategy. So the last one before we take a break. What are some of the expenses that you need to go and look back through your profit and loss on expenses? What needs a review, and who needs to do it? Who's in charge of that in your business? Round your tables, this is like 1-2 minutes maximum, just a couple of suggestions around your expenses on your business. Start with the person who's wasting the most amount of money on expenses on your table. Let's go. I want more time. Okay, guys, come on back. So, we're going to take a break. Before we do, top 2 learnings out of that first session. We had a big old whiffle this morning. We then went and did a lot of time around time, and we finished in the home straight on margin. So this is a write whilst you discuss it with your group, okay? So everyone, this will be about 3-4 minutes. Round you go. Top 2 learnings from that session. Let's go.